It's like Castaway and The Forest combined. It doesn't really speak volumes about your game if you compare it to another completely different game. But whatever, you do you. Yeah, we'll just get right into this. Yeah, today we're gonna be reviewing Stranded Deep. It just came out for PlayStation, and I'd seen this on PC, a couple videos about it, and I thought, oh, it looks pretty cool. Like you have islands, and it involves more sailing than actual land exploration and all that. And we'll touch on that topic in a bit. Now, a couple things that are nice about this game are it lets you customize, like the gender of your character, like the existing maps, like oh, is it a pre-gen or is it completely randomized? The difficulty, your permadeath, if you want to up the stakes with that, and like enemy agitation, like if they attack you or if they're more passive sort of thing. And what's also nice about this game, Stranded Deep, is that you actually get to build your own islands if you want to have stuff like that, but in my experience with doing that, it's actually been kind of a pain doing it. Like, you have limited amount of space and all that, and it's not really specific on, like, everything that you can do with the resources and all that. But regardless, let's just jump right into it, shall we? So you kind of start out with a cold open when you load up your game. You know, you're here on your own little private jet. You're probably going to a business conference or some crazy vacation to some exotic place when, lo and behold, your plane starts crashing in the middle of nowhere, which has never been done in a survival game. But survive it you do, and you wash up on your own exotic little island now. You get that vacation after all. But what's nice about Stranded Deep is like it kind of uses this island not only to like give you the basic layout of the game, but it's also nice because you actually have a little tutorial up there in the top of the screen that clues you in on like, oh, what do you need to do, all the crafting and all that you have to take care of, and basically it sets you up. Like it doesn't just drop you in with nothing to do. It actually gives you like, hey, this is what you should be working on, and you should be investing some time to like go over all these mechanics and stuff, because not only do you learn how to craft, but you also see the crafting system and your leveling system and all that stuff, and it's really nice the way the game introduces these concepts to you. However, with Stranded Deep, it's kind of a little bit of a slower start than most survival games, which I'm not really complaining about. It's nice that the game gives you this time to breathe and figure out everything that you're going to be doing and everything that you got to get done, and that's way more tame than some other games where you're dropped in and you immediately have to worry about, like, oh, what's trying to kill me, like, what's going on, like, where do I find all this certain stuff. Pretty much everything on this island is pretty much what you'll need to survive in the long run. And what's also nice about your starting island is usually there's some sort of underwater, like sunken ship or wreck or something like that lets you explore it, and you can potentially find crates full of loot that you can use, and that's really cool. I like that little idea of, oh, look around, you're going to want to look for everything because you're going to need a lot of the stuff that we're providing for you, which is nice. I like games that are like, hey, actually explore versus, oh, you can just sit back and do nothing. No, explore, get the lay of the land, and maybe even find some treasure while you're at it. Now, the thing that is probably the biggest oversight with Stranded Deep is the sailing. Now, most games that I've covered like have some form of like boating or something like that, and in those games it wasn't like as big of a chore as this is. As you're seeing, this is sped up. This is ridiculous. The time it takes you to sail in this game is so ridiculously long. I felt like it was a big oversight by the developers by how long it takes you to sail. Literally half of the clips in here are sailing because I had to comb through everything to find clips where I'm not sailing. And the worst part about the sailing is you actually kind of have to, because your island has a finite amount of resources and you need to explore. And it's nice to explore the game. The game looks nice, the sound design is great, and you can see all the islands in the distance and everything that you can explore, and everything looks and sounds great. But having to go and look for supplies, but also the sailing mixed in with that is so bad because you have so much you have to build, so much you have to keep up with in terms of your draining meters and your resources and your farming, your water collecting, your fire that you have to create. Now, I left this part out until now because this is probably one of the first things that I noticed in this game that was probably easily my favorite thing in the game, starting a fire. Now, most games you just boop fire, and whereas The Long Dark with well, I'm not going to mention that here, but regardless, like starting a fire in Stranded Deep is actually like, look at that. That's actually a little bit more entertaining than just boop fire, but it's way better than, okay, we're gonna sit here and we're gonna wait for the fire to start. But yeah, no, I think that that's really nice. That's easily probably one of my favorite things that this game brings to the table, and it's definitely unique among survival games. Now, one thing I can easily say I don't like about Stranded Deep is your lack of being able to store stuff because half the time the crates you find only have a limited amount of space, and by limited I mean 3 slots in each freaking chest, and that results in you having to kind of strewn your stuff haphazardly around your base, and that's kind of annoying because that's not really aesthetically pleasing. I like organization and being able to put my stuff away rather than just leave it out on the floor, which is not very pleasing. And also building a house. Now, I like building shelters in survival games because it's like, oh, this is my base. This is where I can relax, take a breather. But the thing with Stranded Deep is that it's like takes so many resources to build a house that you're better off probably not even doing it, which I don't like that idea. It's like, no, I want to build a house in a survival game, but because of how much resources it takes just to build a simple house in Stranded Deep, it's really annoying and you're probably better off not even bothering. Now, easily, probably one of the coolest things in this game is the sound design. Like, just when you're sailing, it's just the nice, relaxing music and the waves, your raft creaking as it sails through the ocean, and that's really cool. But, I mean, like I said, this takes so unbelievably long. I found myself just playing on my phone for about 5 minutes waiting for my raft to get to land, and I didn't like that. I wanted it to be either faster or maybe be the islands be closer together or be more diverse because most of the islands are kind of the generic the same. They're pretty simple. And if your raft flips, well, you have one of two options. Either flip it back or relog a previous save because I forgot to mention that in this game you have to meticulously save at your shelter that you build, and if your game crashes, which my game crashed several times while playing this, you lose all the progress you made from your last save up until that point. You start over, and that is probably the most annoying thing in this game. Like, your game crashes, something bugs out, or you're just like, oh, I'm just gonna leave it, your system turns off, something happens. Nope, you just lost all that progress. And that's really, really, really bad in a survival game where time is everything in the game. Now, I'm gonna say one thing that I always give credit to survival games is having some sort of story or something to work towards so you're not just laid back on wherever you're staying and just taking it easy. No, you have something pushing you, and in this case, you find a plane in this aircraft carrier that you can repair. You have to stock up food, fuel, everything. And to get the parts for it, you have to defeat bosses in the world. Now, I haven't even gotten to that point because I'm still worried about getting sticks for the fire so that I can cook my food. Now I wanted to end this video on a high note because I actually like this game because as opposed to other survival games where you're always worried about something, enemies, like it's just really stressful or it's dire, this game's really relaxing. Like to me, it would be the kind of game you like sit back on the couch and you're drinking a beer, you're just taking it easy because it's a really soothing game. Like even the sound is nice and just sailing, like it's a pain in the ass to sail between islands, but just like the sound and like the way everything looks, it's just mesmerizing. I really enjoyed most of that stuff. But like I said, the amount of time it takes you to sail, the pretty generic islands, there most of them are pretty much the same. Like you should have maybe either bigger islands or the sailing should be faster or the island should be closer, something along those lines so that I'm not looking on my phone for 10 minutes while I just wait for my raft to get me from point A to point B. And again, with the saving, that's awful for a survival game because you grind in survival games like no other game. And if you lose all that progress, that is so like deteriorating to your playthrough. It's like I don't want to play this anymore. Then half the time, whenever my game did crash, I just gave up playing for the day because I didn't want to go through all that again. And with the lack of multiplayer, I think that that's even worse because I think multiplayer could definitely improve this. You and your friends dividing and conquering, getting stuff done more, or just sailing together, make this empty place a whole lot more enjoying. But yeah, regardless, I will say I do enjoy this game, and if they do come out with multiplayer after I upload this video, I'm really excited about that. I think that would be very fun to have friends in the game to survive with. But yes, regardless, guys, I do encourage this game. It is fun, and again, they add multiplayer in. Definitely something to come to with your friends. But yeah, so that's the end here, guys. I appreciate you guys for watching. Sorry it took a while to get this out. This just came out, so I had to record everything and find all the parts that I wanted to talk about. But I appreciate you watching, and if you enjoyed it, please smash that like button. It helps me out a lot. And of course, subscribe for more content. I'll try to finish up the survival reviews and get back to the daily ship posts that I always upload. But yes, so I will see you guys in the next video. You guys stay classy out there.
Come to the dark side.